every morning. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. I do a yoga practice, and that involves some very energetic breath work. So we're all very much aware of how our respiratory system has really been in the limelight, so to speak, without saying the word and everything. And I just thought it would be a good idea just to kind of talk about the aspects of breath. And you can meditate on this audio if you want to, if you find that just hearing about this relaxes you. And there's so many different ways that you can honor your breathing. We actually breathe in a very lackluster way, most sort of a really mediocre breath. So we tend to have shallow breathing when we go about our daily routines and stuff. We just generally breathe really shallow, and so that happens in the top of the chest. So we're not actually using the full capacity of our breathing, and as a result of that, we don't really engage fully with the power of the breath and how it can make you really, really well. And I guess because we've been wearing protection over our faces, then we would have lost contact even more with our breathing capacity. So this is an opportunity to re-engage with the power of your breath. I mean, we breathe, I'm going to say that word a lot, by the way, breathe or breath. We breathe over 22,000 times a day. So in fact, something with that much relevance in our life, we take for granted so much. And every single breath offers you new life. I mean, let's face it, if you hold your breath and there's no new breath coming in, life is done. So this is about kind of rethinking the whole process of breathing. You can do this just in your everyday, like when you go to work. If you're doing a task where it's stressful or boring, or something kind of makes you contract in the body, then your breath will slow down a lot. It can even stop. So awareness is key, and being really open to understanding more about your breath. I mean, this may come as a bit of a surprise that it could have so much impact on your health and well-being. Just to refer back to nature, elephants, crocodiles, and tortoises, or the tortoise, I'm not sure what the plural is, breathe very, very slowly. Very, very slowly. In fact, the crocodile will take 1 breath per minute, I believe. And they are creatures who live very long lives. So their capacity to enable their breath longer increases their lifespan. So naturally, we've been in a condition for the last however many months where we have put emphasis on scarcity in our breath. We've also restricted expression of our breath, and so I mean, if you're wearing covering and you're going into a space, you probably would have breathed very differently without being aware of that, through fear. So the yogis, the ancient sages, gurus of the yoga philosophies, concepts and practices, they would have done these breathing techniques that I do every day, and it is powerful stuff. I'm not going to swear on here. So one of the first examples of this is to breathe deep. So if you put your hand on your chest and one on your belly, and just close your eyes and take a moment to be aware of your breath, and sense the journey of it, you'll notice that it is probably going into the top of your chest rather than down into the lower part of your abdomen. So this practice of breathing means that you take the breath a lot lower. So imagine, for instance, that your diaphragm is like a trampoline, and you're going to take the breath right down onto that trampoline. So you kind of pull your breath all the way down towards the lower part of the lungs, towards the diaphragm, and what happens is you kind of push your breath down. When you do this, you use the full capacity of your lungs, basically, which enables more of the nutrients from the oxygen to enter into the bloodstream, and therefore increases the capacity of nutrients in the blood to the whole of your body. What it also does as well, without us recognizing it, is that it will inevitably create strength in the diaphragm, because the diaphragm is the separation between the soft organs of the digestive system and the respiratory system. So it's kind of like the gateway. If you can hold your hand on your belly and breathe into your abdomen for just a few seconds, you will have a marked kind of increase in eye clarity, brain clarity. You will feel more relaxed, you will feel more focused, you will feel more at ease, more attractive, in fact. So it's really, really powerful stuff. So, I mean, even if you wake up in the morning and before you even get out of bed and you just put your hand on your belly and just inflate your belly with the breath for a short amount of time, you're encouraging new awareness and understanding of your breath, and kind of acknowledging it as well. So that only takes like a few seconds to do. So you can therefore do it anywhere, at any time, wherever you are. So, for instance, say you're just about to leave the house. You've picked up your keys for the car. Everyone's running around the house. Children, animals, whoever. Stand at the door before you leave and just take the biggest, longest, fullest breath ever. And that will make such a marked impression on your day. In fact, you could probably get the whole family to do it as well, actually. So just a segment of your day before you enter into the crazy activity of your day. And just, I mean, if you're listening to this now, then maybe just take a moment and imagine yourself doing that tomorrow so that you remember. And what will happen is you'll have like a moment in time where you think about doing that. So you kind of enter into your world with intention. So yeah, very powerful, so simple, and it will make you could, though, that kind of change. If you could make that change every single day before you left the house, it would be a massive change. So that's kind of called diaphragmatic breath. And or it's called breath of fire or breath of victory. a form of breath of fire. You can breathe like a yogi. So I mean, you don't have to be sat on the floor to do this. And it really is about pumping the abdomen. So I spoke earlier about pulling the breath down to the abdomen. So if you can do that, if you can fill your lungs up with as much breath as possible, and then kind of pull the abdomen in really quickly and push the breath out through the nose, like that, if you're listening, and you do this for a certain amount of time, it will de-stress you completely. So this is a really, if anyone is listening and they practice yoga, this will be a primary practice before moving into a yoga flow. If you're aware of hatha yoga or vinyasa yoga, whichever way you remember it or understand it by, and it induces high levels of oxygen into the body. It can stir up release in your thoughts, so it can really distill any disturbance you have in your mind of thoughts. So to do this breath will inevitably be a really powerful preliminary stage to meditation, for instance. So a full lung of breath, and then pumping the breath out through the nose by pulling the belly in, and doing that repetitively. So it will seem very weird to begin with, because basically we just don't breathe through the tummy. We don't breathe through the abdomen. But if you start to engage like more awareness into the abdomen with the breath, you will encourage so much relaxation. You will encourage your mind to rest. So if you've got some crazy stuff going on at the moment, then working with this style of breath will help you out, and it can take seconds. So that would be your abdominal breathing essentially. So you can either do this sitting down, you can do the standing up, although you could look a bit strange doing this if you were standing at the bus stop or if you were at work. I would find a private space to do this. And the essential kind of dynamic of this is as if it was like a bellow. And basically a bellow, when you open it up, pulls breath in, and then when you kind of punch it closed, the breath comes out. It's the same thing as breathing like low down into your belly. It sounds like this. And every time I breathe out through the nose, and I squeeze my belly in. So it's like a pump. And if you can do that like 10 to 20 times before moving into a meditation, then you are really going to help clear your mind space. Because I hear so many people when I speak to people and coach them on meditation or breathing to relieve stress, that they find that as soon as they become still, their mind goes mental. If that's the right word, that's not the best word. Their mind goes hyper crazy, hyper sort of sensitive, hyper like into all sorts of dynamics of thought, like 3 or 4 different thought processes going on at the moment. That's because when we're in our everyday process of living, we basically forget about the breath, we forget about the mind, we just move, we do, we act, and most of the time it's unintended, it's kind of reactive. You know, you wake up in the morning, you get ready for work, you go to work, you do your job, you come back, you eat, you sleep, you talk, you walk, without intention. So we're kind of like really reactive. That's why when you sit down to do meditation, you can basically feel what's been happening in your mind that you haven't been aware of before. So it can be really aggressive, it can be really uncomfortable, and that's why the breath is basically the tool to use for relaxation. So again, just going back to the time that we've kind of experienced having face coverings and things like that, and not being able to sort of breathe in public, if you kind of look at it that way, is that we would have created some kind of lack belief, some kind of fear in how we breathe. And for me, that's quite scary as like a breath practitioner, a meditation practitioner, is because that will create so much more anxiety than there already is in the body. So if you can create a 5 to 10 minute breathing practice for yourself or with your family in the morning or in the evening, or make it fun, like I just spoke about doing breath work before you leave the house, taking a deep breath, sighing a breath of, in fact my brother said to me the other day, he said that was a big sigh. And I don't realise that I do it on a regular basis. Like when you sigh, when you breathe out through the mouth, you're expelling old energy. Okay, so whatever your thoughts are on energy, it doesn't matter. If you can breathe out through the mouth, even like taking a minute by yourself and just breathing out through the mouth with the tongue, pushing out, like as if you're steaming up a mirror. Like, I love that breath, it's so dramatic. You inevitably will clear out the throat space, which will help you communicate better. And it also just kind of distills any dormant activity in your body. So that's another good breath to have. Another one that I practice regularly is alternate nostril breathing. So we have a right and a left side, which we all know we have a right and a left side. One side is more dominant than the other. I won't go into this too much in detail, but one is kind of more masculine, one is more feminine. And if we're working from one side more than the other, let's say we're just focusing on something that's really important at the moment, we might be adding extra masculine activity to our day. And not seeing how we could just sit back and maybe kind of take our attention away. So alternate nostril breathing will help us align both sides. And what you do is you just close one side of your nose. So for instance, right now I've got my right thumb over my right nostril, and I just breathe through my left. That's why I sound funny. So just breathing through the left side of your body is really calming. And you can do this anywhere. Say you're sat at your desk at work, or you've just finished. I would say do it before eating. Just say you're just about to sit down for your lunch, or you're back from walking the dog. Again, you're just about to leave the house, or you're just about to leave work. Just place your right thumb over your right nostril and breathe through the left side of your nose. So, I mean, it's going to sound like normal breath, but I'm going to do it for you anyway. It's so relaxing. So that's closing your right nostril with your right thumb and breathing through the left side of your nose. Amazing. So I actually feel completely chilled right now. So if you've come onto this live like 15 minutes in, you're getting the chilled version of me. And like I say, you might find this live really relaxing and an opportunity to meditate. So please do, if you want to join these breath practices, do. If you want further instruction on them, then please reach out and I can help. So once you've done the breath through the left side, then take, for instance, your right forefinger and place it over your left nostril, and then you're going to breathe through the right side. So your finger over the left nostril and just breathing the right side. And again, feel they're trying. Good. So it really works. Inevitably, this is going to help you find balance. Of course, because you're focusing your mindful focus onto each side. Sometimes you'll find in the morning when you wake up that one side, if you practice this in the morning, that one side will be slightly more available for breath than the other. So that's kind of an obvious reflection of how you've slept, and sort of how your nasal condition is. So there's a more complex version of that, but I won't go into this now because you will get totally confused because you can't see me. But again, like if you wake up, we all wake up in sleep mode, and then we move into our active day. And there is a suspension between sleep and day. When we start to remember who we are, we start to think about what we have to do, and we have to kind of start to move into that version of ourselves. So if you can practice some form of breath awareness at that time, then it will certainly have a massive impact on your day and your waking state, because there can be some forms of anxiety. You've had a beautiful sleep, you've been dreaming, you've gone into dream state, your body's cleansed through sleep, and then all of a sudden you're abruptly forced into your waking state, and generally we go straight to problems, straight to the things that we have to do, straight to the things we have to kind of think about, whereas if we can bring about a sense of joy in that gap, and you can mix this up with mindfulness as well. So you can create an affirmation for your day. So Mel Robbins, she does 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, which obviously is great for getting you out of bed. But you could also create maybe an affirmation that is something like, I intend for my day to be joyful. I'm open and ready to receive all that is good. I look forward to my day. I'm so excited about the opportunities of the day and the miracles that might come my way, or that will come my way. And then take a long breath, whichever one you prefer, before you start your day. And I just think that it's a small price to pay. It could save you. It's going to add years to your life. It's going to make your skin look better. It's going to make your eyes sparkle more. You're going to be nicer to be around because you breathe better. And you might be able to help someone else around you. That's the ripple effect of working with good breath work. So yeah, this is really, I think going forward in life, if we can take responsibility for the way that we breathe, and have confidence in our breath and see the potential that we have with the breath, then I do believe that it can create great health, and prosperity, even magic in meditation, and to be more effective as a human being. So there's also humming bee breath, which is the last breath that I'm going to talk about tonight. And that for me was just a little bit strange when I first started bee breathing, because everyone knows me as bee. It just kind of resonated with me. But what you do is you close off the ears and the eyes, and the nostrils. So your thumbs go into your ears. This is going to be a bit strange. Your thumbs go into your ears, and then your middle finger goes over your eyes. So you kind of close off that inner awareness. And then you close the mouth, take a deep breath in, and then you close the nostrils and you hum. And that humming sound is like a vibration that resonates through the whole of your inner awareness, the whole of your inner experience. And we don't take enough time to look deep within. So it can feel a little bit strange. Definitely don't do this while you're driving. Definitely don't do this when you're at work, unless you've got like a place that you can go to. And practice the humming sound of a bee. And feel the vibration in your throat, in your chest, in your collarbone, around your back, over your shoulders, down your shoulder blades, into your cheeks. And it's such a unique sensation. It brings about a really calming feeling, and it can really clear the forehead as well. So again, it's just a moment in time where you can kind of reflect. If you've got any frustration, any anger, any anxiety, then that will disperse through your breath. I cannot stress this enough. If you just take a few minutes to breathe, inevitably you will make massive impact on your health. So I hope this was helpful. I will make a conscious effort to come live again. I like the fact that I can do this while there's a cute picture up. So if you see me making funny faces, and if it is comforting to you, then that's even better. So yeah, I'll come back again and practice this with you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Remember, if you breathe well, you live well. So yeah, enjoy. Thank you for joining me. Okay, bye.